Okay, exponents are cool by me, Shy Jorgensen. So you guys might be wondering, what the heck is an exponent? Because, like, you know, and if your face is like this right now, then I would assume that you don't know what an exponent is whatsoever. So, I'm going to explain it to you guys. An exponent is an easier way of representing repeated multiplication of the same number. They are usually written as small numbers raised to a higher power. For example, 3 to the 4th power would be written as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which would equal 81. Because it's not like, never mind. The exponent tells us how many times to multiply the number by itself, making it a tool for easier math. Because, you know, people, like, however long ago, didn't just want to multiply the same thing over and over again, like a million times on a sheet of paper. So that's why they made exponents, to make it easier. But is that the only thing exponents have to offer? No! There are multiple ways exponents can be set up. You can multiply by exponents, divide by them, add a power to the power of an exponent. There are quotient laws, negative exponents, and zero laws. We will be solving questions from all of these types of exponents. So we'll start off with exponential form and negative exponents. Exponential form is basically your like standard type of exponents, like 3 to the 7th power or 8 to the 9th power. You would solve these exponents by multiplying the number by itself based on the power. If I had 3 to the 5th power, it would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which would equal 243, which is like basic stuff you would learn really early. You guys probably already know all that. But negative exponents, you might not know. When you have a negative exponent, switch the base of its reciprocal with a positive exponent. For example, if I had 5 to the negative 2nd power, I would put it in a fraction and move it to the denominator to lose its negative sign. 1 over 5 to the negative 2nd power would be what would change negative 2 into 2. So this is your example for a basic exponent, and this is your example for a negative exponent, if you guys can see that. Multiplying and dividing exponents. When you're multiplying an exponent by the same number, you simply add its exponents. So if I did 2 to the 7th power times 2 to the 8th power, the answer would simply be 2 to the 7th plus 8th power, or 2 to the 15th power. So if I had, for an example, if I had 8 to the 3rd power times 8 to the 5th power, I would have 8 to the 3rd plus 5th power, which would be like 8 to the 8th power. Okay? So dividing exponents. When you divide exponents or divide powers, you take the top exponent and subtract it from the bottom one. Then you have your answer. So when I'm dividing, take my top and bottom exponent, and then I subtract it. And that's when I can multiply. So now, power of a power and product law of exponents. If an exponent has parentheses and another exponent on the outside, you add the exponents and then multiply your power. For example, if you have the equation 2 to the 5th power with the 2nd power on the outside, you multiply 5 and 2, and once you're done, you will have 2 to the 10th power, which will give you 1024. It's just an easier way of like making your exponent easier for you. So it's just like one thing. And then we have the product law of exponents, which is really similar to the distributive property. What you're going to be doing is if you have two or more numbers in parentheses and an exponent on the outside, you will basically be putting that exponent onto both of your numbers, and then once you have a2 and b2 or whatever you have, you multiply that, and that's your answer. Ugh. Then we have our quotient law of exponents and our zero law of exponents. These are our last ones, so don't worry. With our quotient law of exponents, it's very similar to our last one. Instead of more powers, or having multiple numbers in parentheses, you have a fraction. And you simply just add, just like we did on the other one, put your exponent onto your powers. And then once you have your actual fraction, you multiply until you have your real numbers, and then you divide. And then with the zero law of exponents, it's pretty simple. If your exponent is 0, your answer is automatically 1. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching my Edpuzzle.